Don't tuck him anywhere, but just sit on him. And the husband's there. Oh, no good.
And she calls lovely to see you. I know it's less
So important that can't wait. Tell me, what are you thinking? What is it that's keeping you from bringing me your questions? All that you carry, all that you bury under me. Just slow down, just slow down and me with me. Rest now, be in the present, here in the blessings of today. Listen, just for a moment, I am the only one with words to calm your worries. Focus your mind on me. I am the way to perfect peace. Just slow down, just slow down and be with me. Why hurry when you can walk with me? Why hurry when you can walk with me? Why hurry when you can walk with me? I'll be the light to guide your feet if you just slow down, just slow down and weep with me.
For a New Beginning by John O'Donoghue. In out-of-the-way places of the heart, where your thoughts never think to wander. This beginning has been quietly forming, waiting until you are ready to emerge. For a long time it has watched your desire, feeling the emptiness growing inside you, noticing how you willed yourself on, still unable to leave what you had outgrown. It watched you play with the seduction of safety and the grey promises that sameness whispered, heard the waves of turmoil rise and relent, wondered, would you always live like this? Then the delight when your courage kindled and out you stepped onto new ground, your eyes young again with energy and dream, a path of plenitude opening before you. Though your destination is not yet clear, you can trust the promise of this opening. Unfurl yourself into the grace of beginning that is one with your life's desire. Awaken your spirit to adventure. Hold nothing back. Learn to find ease in risk. Soon you will be home in a new rhythm, for your soul senses the world that awaits you.
Thanks, Rosemary. Good morning. Welcome. It's nice to be here. I'd like to start by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which I'm meeting today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and pay my respects to their elders past and present and emerging. Today we do church on land that was stolen and never ceded. Hartwell is a fully affirming community and fully committed to being a safe place for all people who are connected to this community, regardless of gender, sexuality, family background, economic situation, and regardless of how old you are, where you come from, what abilities you have, what languages you speak, what religion, spiritual path, tradition, and ethical conviction. Everyone is welcome here, and we want everyone to feel safe here. So particular welcome to all of you, but our pastor came back. What? Seriously, came back after 6 weeks. So welcome back. Welcome back.
Should we be questioning his...
Beg pardon?
Should we be questioning his thought processes or ours?
I think you need to question a lot of things about Ron. Start there. But it's really great to have you back, Ron. So welcome. And I'm going to ask you to light the cross candle. So today I'm focusing on this book called Into the Silent Land. It's a book by Martin Laird, and it has a lot to say about the practice of contemplation. So I'm going to use some passages out of here and just try a few different things today in our service. He says a number of wise things about contemplative practice, and these include the practice of silence, what I call contemplative practice, or simply practice, cannot be reduced to a spiritual technique. Now, the word technique's got me into a bit of trouble over the years, because I've thought that if you practice something, then you're going to get an outcome the way you want it to be. And of course, that's part of the problem with using the word technique. It suggests a certain level of control and aims for a specific outcome. And there's no doubt that I've thought that by doing a certain practice, I'm trying to engineer a certain outcome, and particularly with the divine. And it's part of being in control, I'm sure, which is part of what is one of my things I need to work on. What Laird says about the purpose of spiritual practice is to simply open us up for something to happen. But of course there are no guarantees that something will happen. And to suggest something will happen puts us in the same category as the divine, which of course we can never be. So silence is trying to put us in a position to allow the divine to impact us. Laird describes two contemplative practices of fundamental importance to the Christian tradition. Number one, the practice of stillness, also called meditation, still prayer, contemplative prayer. There's a whole range of names for this. And the second important aspect of contemplative practice is the practice of watchful awareness. Both of these practices, he says, are found in the Christian tradition, and he also says that many other traditions have important things to say to us about these practices. Laird's book is based on the ancient Christian view that the foundation of every land is silence, where God simply and perpetually gives herself. This has been very helpful for me because I thought I needed to do something to connect with the divine, whereas the challenge for me is the opposite. Can I be in a space that allows me to sense and be with the divine as he gives herself to me? It's been very important that I realised I couldn't do my way to the divine with some new technique or process. I had to stop and be open to the divine as much as I could. So as I was preparing this, Sue brought in this book, and it's one of her mother's books, and it's got a Latin title, and I'm going to try and read it. Venite Adoramus. Does that make sense? And what it actually... no, it doesn't. I can't speak Latin. And it means, come let us adore him /God. And in this book, it gets a definition of meditation. Now this book was printed in 1937. So it's an old Church of England book of devotions. So in this book it says the following around meditation. Meditation is listening to God. It's just as important that we should listen to God as we should talk to him. There are many methods. The Church has put the focus on talking to God and not so much on listening to the divine. So this morning I'd like to focus on listening to the divine. We are going to do 3 variations on the practice of stillness to aid our listening. And Andy and I are running the Quiet Day on Saturday, and I'll do some stuff about the other aspect of the practice around watchfulness on Saturday. So the first practice is very simple. It's just an extension of where we were at the start with the practice of silence. So let's just take a moment to settle into the silence, to rest for a moment, to enter a time of peaceful reflection. Let us allow this space, this place to offer its care to us. Restful in its quiet, away from the busyness of our everyday life. blessing for silence and solitude. Holy source of silence, beneath the clatter and din of the everyday, you offer your mysteries to our hearts. You call us to pause, to slow down and listen to the true longing planted in each of us by you, a seed of holy desire. Support us in letting go of the inner and outer noise. Open wide in us a sacred cave for stillness, where we can attune to your presence. Enliven us with the gift of your sweet music and allow us to encounter your holy presence, flaming in each of our hearts. Help us to catch a note of your song in the wind or in the voice of another, in times of sadness and in the rush of our lives. In a world so filled with distraction, we listen for your whispers, which calls us to another way of being, and ask for the courage to respond to all we discover in this tabernacle of silence. Laird says this about the thinking mind. The thinking mind that whirls about is constantly concerned with thoughts and concepts and images. And we obviously need this dimension of mind to meet the demands of the day, to think, to reflect on and enjoy life. But the thinking mind has a professional hazard. It is not engaged in its primary task of reason. Given half a chance, it fizzes and boils with obsessive thoughts and feelings. There are, however, deeper demands, deeper encounters of life, love and God, and there is far more to being alive than riding breathlessly around in the emotional roller coaster of obsessive thinking. God is always self-giving. It is the question of removing the obstacles that make it difficult to receive the self-gift. So I thought in our second practice we'd do some breath praying. So breath prayer is it's a very old practice, and it's all about following the rising and falling of our breath. And as your breath rises and falls, then you whisper some words to yourself. And this helps us deepen our awareness of the divine. So for example, as you inhale, one example is you whisper to yourself, I breathe in peace. And as you exhale, you say softly, I breathe out love. So here's some other examples. So I breathe in possibility and I breathe out gratitude. I breathe in patience, I breathe out grace. I breathe in joy, I breathe out love. I breathe in creation's goodness, I breathe out love. So I'll leave those on the screen, but you might pick one. Pick a pair, and as we go through this practice, we'll have some silence, and you might just try how this breath prayer works for you. The important point about breath prayers are they should never cause discomfort. It's just about being with the rhythm of your breathing. So my suggestion is just pick a pair of these statements and just be with your breath as you whisper the words to yourself. And we'll do that for a few minutes. I'll ding the bell, and that's the signal for Jocelyn to come up and get us out ready. So let's just take a few moments to do some breath prayers.
But he had to go through Samaria. So he came to a Samaritan city called Sychar, near the plot of ground that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired out by the journey, was sitting by the well. It was about noon. A Samaritan woman came to draw water, and Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink." His disciples had gone to the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask a drink of me, a woman of Samaria?" Jews do not share things in common with Samaritans. Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him and he would have given you living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have no bucket and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Are you greater than our ancestor Jacob, who gave us the well, with his sons and his flocks drank from it?" Jesus said to her, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again. But those who drink of the water that I will give them will never be thirsty. The water that I will give will become in them a spring of water gushing up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I may never be thirsty or have to keep coming here to draw water." Jesus said to her, "Go, call your husband and come back." The woman answered him, "I have no husband." Jesus said to her, "You are right in saying, 'I have no husband,' for you have had 5 husbands, and the one you have now is not your husband. "What you say is true," the woman said to him. "Sir, I see that you are a prophet. Our ancestors worshipped on this mountain, but you say that the place where people must worship is in Jerusalem." Jesus said to her, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when you will worship the Father, neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem. You worship what you do not know. We worship what we know, for salvation is from the Jews. But the hour is coming, and is now here, when the true worshippers will worship the Father in spirit and truth. For the Father seeks such as these to worship him. Jesus is spirit and truth. Those who worship him must worship in spirit and truth." The woman said to him, "I know that the Messiah is coming, who is called Christ. When he comes, he will proclaim all things to us." Jesus said to her, "I am he, the one who is speaking to you."
Thanks, Jocelyn. So we're going to move into communion. So this is your cue to get your elements ready. And as we prepare for communion this morning, I want to read some words from a Choctaw elder and Episcopal Bishop, Stephen Charleston, who considers how Jesus invited others to share in his prophetic vision. Jesus saw a vision that became an invitation for people to claim a new identity, to enter into a new sense of community. Jesus offered the promise of justice, healing and redemption. Jesus became the prophetic teacher of a spiritual renewal for the poor and the oppressed. Jesus was more than just the recipient of a vision or a messenger of a vision. What set Jesus apart is that he brought the elements of his vision quest together in a way that no one else had ever done. "This is my body," he told them. "This is my blood." For him, the culmination of his vision was not just the messiahship of believing in him as a prophet. Through the Eucharist or communion, Jesus was not just offering people a chance to see his vision, but to become a part of it by becoming a part of him. So let us share together the bread and the wine in your own time as we consider the vision of Jesus. And there will be some silence for a few moments as we do that. So this, the third and last practice for this morning focuses on today's reading, the story of Jesus' encounter with the Samaritan woman at the well. And Janine's going to come and bring some words to us from Elio Delio on this story. Okay.
This is an excerpt from Elio Delio's The Unbearable Wholeness of Being, God, Evolution and the Power of Love. The story of Jesus' encounter with the Samaritan woman shows the new religious consciousness that erupts in this man from Galilee. In his encounter with the woman at the well, Jesus broke 3 Jewish customs. First, he spoke to a woman. Second, she was a Samaritan woman, a group Jews traditionally despised. And third, he asked her to get him a drink of water, which would have made him ceremonially unclean from using her cup or jar. This shocked the woman at the well. But Jesus lived in unrestrained love, inwardly free from laws and customs that hindered wholeness and community. Jesus prioritizes what Delio calls a love that makes whole and heals through an ever greater unity between God, people, and creation. Jesus was a whole maker, bringing together those who were divided, separated, or left out of the whole. He initiated a new way of Catholicity, a gathering together of people in love. At the end of his life, he prayed that they will all be one, just as you and I are one, as you are in me, Father, and I am in you. And may they be in us, so that the world will believe you sent me. He gathered together what was divided and confronted systems that diminished, marginalised, or excluded human persons. He challenged others not by argument or attack, but out of a deep centre of love. Jesus said, "Do not resist an evil person. If someone strikes you on the right cheek, turn to him the other also." Faith in Christ should move us to be loving and free, to create new wholes, and in doing so, to create a new future for the human person, for society, and for the whole earthly community.
So I'd like, excuse me, I'd like you to imagine meeting Jesus at the well yourself. I'm wondering, if you met Jesus at the well, what you would want to share with him about the place you are at today. What feels positive and life-giving? What feels difficult, frustrating? What do you want to let go of because it feels like a burden? What do you hope for or deep down sense that you need? We'll spend a few minutes here. Perhaps in that time you focus on just one of these questions and see what arises in you and what you hear. it's fascinating that whilst Brian was away, we reduced him to a singing bowl. So thank you for being here today. Thank you for the gift that I've received this morning in preparing this. I always find the preparation of these services takes me to a different place and the connection with the divine as well. So thank you for allowing me to do that. We're going to finish, and Michael's going to do a blessing for us. Tonight is dish at our place, so if you'd like to come, just let me know, and we'll make sure we've got enough pizzas for you. So Michael, thank you.
Blessing for Packing Lately by Christine Walters Pentner.
Yeah.
We know in God, you ask us to let go, release, surrender, and yield all that we can in service of making space for what is most essential. The more we set aside that which burdens us and takes up too much space, the more room opens within us for wonder and gratitude to flourish, the more we find the freedom to see the world as enchanted. Sustain us on the path of simplifying our lives and traveling on this earth more lightly so that we no longer live beyond what can be sustained. As we continue on the pilgrim's path, unencumbered by so many things, may you open our hearts to delight in the simple beauty of the world. Maybe I'm misjudging. Okay. I don't know what the influence is like. Shall I go and fill this under as well? Yeah, there is no sorry about that.
That is usually the same, but
Everybody likes the That sun and bowl, that's a strong. Yeah, it's kind of a strong. Like just the regular.
yeah, I think so.
That's right. So I'm trying to figure out whether they're strong. You know, they're too
Coffee was there.
I think we waited.
That's
Mind you, but that.
no, well, I was. Yeah, yeah.
You have selfies.
No.
Just gone into the cloud.
I was on like